Hello,
Hi.
everyone, and this is Night of Wrestling. I'm your host, Robbie Dillis, along with Dylan Koros, and again, we have Paul Saccone with us today.
Hello, hello.
And today we are talking about Money in the Bank predictions, NXT TakeOver Chicago predictions, and Paul actually has something to talk about first before we
Yes.
get into the predictions.
Yes, it is the six-man tag team showdown that the entire wrestling world has been waiting on for years. WWE.com has released an article that tomorrow on the Up, Up, Down, Down YouTube channel, you're going to have Xavier Woods, Big E, and Kofi Kingston, The New Day, take on Kenny Omega, the new IWGP World Champion, and the Young Bucks in a Street Fighter V clash that is happening tomorrow on the Up, Up, Down, Down YouTube channel on a live stream at 4 p.m. Eastern.
All right, interesting. That Street Fighter V, man. I haven't played Street Fighter in such a long time.
It's going to
So
be incredible.
it will be. All right, so chronologically before Money in the Bank, we have NXT TakeOver Chicago, and we're gonna kick off with that. So let's go in order that they have it here on Wikipedia. With the Undisputed Era's Kyle O'Reilly and Roderick Strong, the NXT Tag Team Champions, going up against Oney Lorcan and Danny Burch for the tag team titles. Paul, we'll kick it off with you, starting with your predictions.
Kick it off with me. Okay, I'm going to be honest. I really haven't been able to pay much attention to NXT, but based on what I'm looking at and just how everything seems to have been going down in terms of the background and the storylines and whatnot, I say that the Undisputed Era will retain. Plain and simple.
All right, Dylan, do you agree, disagree?
Yes, Undisputed Era retains.
Okay, I along with you guys are going to agree as well. I don't see O'Reilly and Strong losing the titles for a little bit at least. Not really much else to say about that, to be honest. Next match here is Aleister Black versus Lars Sullivan for the NXT Championship. We'll start with Dylan.
I like both competitors. I've also haven't been really paying attention to NXT much, but I've seen a lot of Aleister Black and I've seen a lot of Lars Sullivan. I like both competitors, like I said. I think the feud can continue, so I say that Aleister Black retains, and then they'll have a rematch at TakeOver Brooklyn in August.
Fair enough. Yeah, I don't watch much NXT lately, or I haven't watched NXT lately. That makes more sense.
I love how we're covering something that we basically have zero information on from firsthand viewing.
Yeah. No, I'm gonna have to agree though. Aleister Black, Lars Sullivan. This match is gonna be pretty good, but I don't see Aleister Black losing the title right away. So my prediction: Aleister Black. And Paul, what do you think?
Yeah, Aleister Black.
Okay.
There's just he is on too much of a roll. Plus, I think his reign is relatively new still, so
yeah,
I don't see him losing anytime soon, losing the title.
Fair enough. This next match is going to be a phenomenal match. This feud has been boiling for quite some time now, and it's a Chicago street fight match between Tommaso Ciampa and Johnny Gargano. Considering Johnny Gargano won the last match that they had, which was the last TakeOver event, times are probably changing. I don't know. As much as I want to say that Johnny Wrestling's winning this match, I would like to see him win. see, like I haven't watched much of NXT lately to understand like what's going on between the two from last takeover. So this is basically just picking on pure sheer luck here. I'm gonna say Tommaso Ciampa for this one. Paul, what do you think?
I completely disagree. This match is going to settle the rivalry.
Okay.
This match will finish things once and for all. And typically, not always, but typically, the good guy always wins. And the good guy here is Johnny Wrestling, is Johnny Gargano. It's an easy call for me, but expect this to be just an intense, highly physical, highly violent matchup. If there was blood, it wouldn't surprise me, but I wouldn't count on it. But I'm going to go with Johnny Gargano.
Alrighty.
It seems like the good choice here.
Throwing it to you, Dylan.
I'm going to say Johnny Gargano. Yes, I think it's going to be the end of the feud. Both guys need to move on. I don't know what will happen after, whether possibly one of them gets called up to the main roster. And judging by the weight class, I'm pretty sure if they got called up, they'd be unfortunately going to 205 Live. Yeah, Johnny Gargano's over.
Fair enough. Like I said, I don't mind if Johnny Wrestling wins because I'm a fan of him, but I'm going against him this time. Ricochet versus Velveteen Dream. This is going to be quite some match as well. Dylan, I'll throw it to you. What do you think?
Velveteen Dream has been very impressive as of late. I've seen some NXT videos on him and stuff, and especially the video with Ricochet, where Ricochet does the whole flip over, lands on all that.
That was probably the most amazing piece of footage released this year so far.
And I would love to see Velveteen win, but I think they're going to give it to Ricochet.
Yeah. Paul, what do you think?
I want Velveteen Dream to win so badly just because he's made me a fan. Velveteen Dream is doing all the right things that a character should be doing. And he's doing it in such a way that it works so unbelievably well. That said, as much as I want him to win, as much as I would love him to just pull off a roll-up and grab the tights or something, this one's going to have to go to Ricochet. I as much as I want Velveteen Dream to win.
Fair enough. Yeah, I'm gonna give it to Ricochet as well. He's got some huge star power, obviously, for him, and Velveteen Dream, no less either. He's been making a big name for himself down in NXT. Like Paul said, kind of becoming a big fan of him. Seeing what big things are gonna come his way, and but no, I'm saying Ricochet is taking this one as well, and.
Did we lose Dylan's camera?
I turned it off for a second.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Finally, for NXT TakeOver Chicago, we have the NXT Women's Championship match between the current champion Shayna Baszler going up against Nikki Cross. I'll start off with this one by saying how I like Nikki Cross, but do I see her winning this match? It would be interesting to see her as champion. However, Shayna Baszler is kind of, she just won the championship a little while ago. So let's see here. They aren't saying much about it actually on here.
I think she won it. Didn't she win it at TakeOver? Was it New Orleans? That's where.
I will look that up right now.
I'm pretty sure that's where she was. So it's the same time as Aleister Black won the NXT.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. So, all right. I mean, right now Shayna Baszler is kind of unstoppable. I don't know who they would have her drop the women's championship to. I don't think it'll be Nikki Cross. However, there comes a time and place where you have to take one of those risk predictions, and just for the sake of predicting something, I'm going to say Nikki Cross just for the heck of it, because why not? But however, I do see Shayna Baszler retaining, but for the sake of this, I'm just going to say Nikki Cross for fun. Why not? Switch things up a bit. Paul, what do you think?
Every now and again, there comes, and I'm sure everyone has one. Everyone has a wrestler or two that is super popular, that is super over with the fans, and you just don't know why personally. For me, that is Nikki Cross. I don't understand exactly what the appeal is, especially since Sanity, I think, is broken up, or I don't know, they just don't really have that much of a presence right now. So, yeah, I'm gonna have to go with Shayna. It doesn't make sense for me for Nikki Cross to win it.
Fair enough. Dylan?
Shayna's gonna take the win. Like I said about Alistair and Lars, this could go on to SummerSlam. Whoops, TakeOver, Brooklyn, or wherever they're going to be for SummerSlam, because it's always the night before. But yeah, Shayna's going to take the NXT Women's title.
Alrighty. Moving along now to Money in the Bank predictions.
Damn.
So, the pre-show match has just been announced as of recently. We're SmackDown Tag Team Championship match on the pre-show. So I kind of feel sorry for the Bludgeon Brothers and the Good Brothers here. But yes, Harper and Rowan, the SmackDown Tag Champs, going up against Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson. This match to me does not make sense for a pre-show.
You gotta realize, with everything happening, other championship matches, higher profile matches, like say Reigns and Jinder, Lashley and Zayn, Daniel Bryan and Big Cass. Unfortunately, the Bludgeon Brothers versus Gallows and Anderson, it just happens to be the lowest tier feud. That's probably why it got on to the pre-show.
That makes sense.
Yeah, it just when you factor in everything else, something had to fall to the pre-show. Personally, I don't get the appeal of pre-show matches, especially when there were matches announced for that pay-per-view.
Yeah.
That said, I'm just going to jump right in here and say that the Bludgeon Brothers will retain. As much as I like Gallows and Anderson, they're just not there, so to speak. So Harper and Rowan retain.
I don't know about that. Dylan, what do you think?
Bludgeon Brothers retain.
All right. Yeah, with the role that the Bludgeon Brothers have been on lately, I don't know. I want to say opposite from you guys, but no. I'm gonna agree with you guys on this one for now. Bludgeon Brothers will probably retain this one. As much as I would love to see Gallows and Anderson as SmackDown Tag Champs, Paul's right. They're just not there yet for the SmackDown Tag Champs to be won. So, moving right along here, let's go down to the bottom here on the match card for Wikipedia, as it's telling us Daniel Bryan versus Big Cass. Dylan, what do you think? Kicking it off to you.
Obviously, we noticed this feud is continued. A lot of people were thinking about why Daniel Bryan wasn't included in the ladder match, and I think it's simply because WWE doesn't want to risk his concussion problems that he's had in the past, and especially the neck issues he also had. So they just put him in the singles match. And I think also the website for the arena that's hosting Extreme Rules next month has already kind of spoiled that Big Cass and Daniel Bryan are going to face each other at the event. So I think if that's the case, then since the feud would continue, I would bet my money on Big Cass to beat Daniel Bryan this time.
Yeah, I would have to agree. The thing is, however, Dylan, you and I both know, card subject to change, right? But if the feud is going to continue, then Daniel Bryan will be looking at the lights. And I completely agree with what WWE is doing. Keep him out of the more dangerous matches. I can't believe that he was in the Greatest Royal Rumble for as long as he was. But it would be too dangerous to have him in a ladder match, especially since they just cleared him and he's had all of these concussion and neck issues. It would be a liability, as opposed to it would just be a risk not worth taking. So yes, Big Cass will take the win.
Okay, yeah, I'm gonna agree with you guys. Looking at the bigger picture here, and as Dylan said, if they are gonna have this feud continue to Extreme Rules, Big Cass is gonna have to win this one, I guess, to continue that feud along. So that's why I'm gonna agree with you guys. Moving right along here to another match. We have Bobby Lashley versus Sami Zayn. Again, this is a no-brainer for me, with Bobby Lashley picking up the win. I have to say, the one segment where Sami Zayn brings in Bobby Lashley's sisters was very cringeworthy. And the segment this past week where Sami Zayn made Bobby Lashley run that obstacle course on Raw, kind of figured something was going to have to happen at the end of it, like Sami Zayn attacking Bobby Lashley or whatever, to try and get an edge up on him. But come Money in the Bank, Bobby Lashley's taking the win in this one. So, Paul, what do you think?
This is one of those feuds that I just haven't really paid attention to, and I've only been going off of what other people have been telling me. It's interesting that they would go with the whole Bobby Lashley sisters thing. It's just weird that when you are a publicly traded company in this particular day and age, and you go with an angle like that, how do you not get some kind of backlash from it? I don't know. It just seemed really weird. This rivalry in general has seemed to be really weird, and I can't wait for it to be over. As much as I love Sami Zayn's heel work, I gotta go with Bobby Lashley. He needs a big, strong, dominant win, and he really hasn't had a chance to get that yet. This is the part where you come in, Dylan.
I assume so. I was just waiting for Robbie to give me my cue.
All right, Dylan, go ahead.
That's usually what goes on. It's like, Dylan. But it was just awkward silence. But no, anyways. So, yeah, Bobby Lashley for the win. And hopefully this is the end of the feud. I assume it would be.
I hope so, too.
Bobby Lashley to go on to, as WWE probably would want bigger and better things for him. I don't know what Sami Zayn obviously would do. But, yeah, I guess Sami Zayn's heel work has been making this feud a little interesting, but obviously, yes, the that cringeworthy segment that surprisingly was worse than the Bailey version of "This Is Your Life" from last year. I thought nothing was going to top that as the worst segment of probably Raw history, but Bobby Lashley's sisters definitely did that. So yeah, Bobby Lashley for the win.
All right, Paul, I assume you're looking at the match card right now.
Yeah, I am.
You can go ahead and pick another
I
match
noticed,
that we're going to talk about.
that you skipped over a championship match, but I think you did that on purpose.
Yeah.
Okay. So we're just going to go with a match that really, it's a kind of a no-brainer. Roman Reigns versus Jinder Mahal.
Mm.
I mean, do I really even need to say who I think is going to win? Do I need to? I mean, we could always go with the fact that Roman's had...
Do any of us need to? And my phone is ringing.
We're probably gonna. There's one of two.
I'll be right back.
Okay. There's one of two ways that I think this can go. Number one would be they're gonna give Reigns like the whole John Cena after losing to The Rock treatment, where he's just thrown so off his game that he loses to so many inferior opponents. Or they could just go with, this is Roman's big bounce back. There's really no original way to go through this. People are going to complain either way with how it's being portrayed. So why not just give Roman Reigns the win and be done with it?
And obviously, since Robbie's gone, I would have to make my prediction next. So yeah, no brainer. I'm just going to say it, Roman Reigns. There's no other way. I don't see, even if Jinder won, I don't see it really being like a, I don't know, a big momentum push type thing for Jinder. But
yeah, it's just...
So just give it to Roman. It's...
Like, as much as I like Roman, this match is kind of a bit of a skip for me. You know, it's just... This match is just weird. There's no other word to call it other than weird. And since Robbie's not back yet.
Oh, he is. He's back now.
Oh, he is. There we go.
He's back.
Robbie, quick, Roman and Mahal, go for it.
No brainer here, obviously, Roman Reigns.
Yeah.
It just makes sense. Like Paul said, do we really have to give our predictions for this match?
I mean, we've been wrong for the last couple of matches with Brock, so you know.
No, yeah, true.
Like I was saying to Dylan, there's just no real original way to go through this. We could either give him the John Cena after losing to The Rock thing, where he just struggles and has just an off time until he can overcome that demon, or we could just have this be Roman's bounce back. There's no real original way to go through this. People are going to complain either way, so just give Roman the win, be done with it.
All right, fair enough. So now we can move along to championship matches, because that seems to be the last few matches to talk about besides the Money in the Bank contract ladder matches. We'll start with Seth Rollins versus Elias for the Intercontinental Championship match. And before we kick this off to anybody, I just want to make a personal call here where I know Dylan was pretty upset on Monday, and Dylan can tell you why. Dylan can tell you why.
We were talking about Elias's custom Fender guitar getting smashed in the middle of the ring. Such a beauty.
Oh, what? I hate it when perfectly good instruments get smashed.
It's just hit the black. Seth Rollins hit the blackout on the guitar. It's like, it's such a good guitar. Yeah. But I guess that was just assuming that's what you're.
I gotta look up this custom Fender now. Was it at least a decent looking one?
It was a beauty of a Fender.
It was beauty. It got like a fucking Intercontinental title on it. It had Elias's logos all over it. It's like,
that sounds amazing, but I need to see it first.
You do. But yes, that's what I was referring to, Dylan. So I just thought it would be funny to bring it up.
Sending the text. No! Don't do it! No! All in caps.
Yeah. Why, Rollins? Why? Man. Um, but no, to be honest, Seth Rollins is doing phenomenal. He's one of the top guys on Raw right now. He's been throwing out, open challenges here and there on Raw for the IC title. I don't know if they really want to have Rollins drop the title at Money in the Bank, but I mean, I wouldn't mind seeing Elias win the championship, to be quite honest with you. This is a tough one for me. I'm just going to walk with Elias on this one. No pun intended. Or I guess pun intended.
Yeah, don't tell me you didn't do that on purpose.
Yeah, I definitely did that on purpose, so pun intended. Dylan, before we get to you, we'll ask what Paul has to think on this one.
You know what? You go right ahead, Dylan, because I'm still trying to find pictures of this guitar.
Okay, so I'm gonna say Seth Rollins because Seth Rollins has been on a roll as of late, and I think, like he's made the Intercontinental title on Raw right now like the top title, not just because Brock Lesnar hasn't been there since Greatest Royal Rumble, but it's like I think it's even more talked about than the Universal title. And right now I say Rollins. I think Elias has a while yet until he could win a title. Like they could put the title on Elias because Elias, like with his mic work and stuff, it's just absolutely amazing. I think he's one of the reasons I watch Raw, to be honest. He's way too entertaining, and that's what this business is based on, is entertainment. And I think this is going to be a show stealer, to be honest, with both the entertaining aspects and the wrestling aspects of both competitors. The only way I would think Elias would, if he won the title, I would say the only reason they would do that is because then they would have a rematch at Extreme Rules, and then Seth Rollins would be the guy that faces Brock Lesnar for the Universal title at SummerSlam. That's the only way I can see this.
At Extreme Rules, bar on a pole. Just pull out Vince Russo booking, why not?
Yeah. But that's the only way I see Elias winning is if Seth Rollins is in line to face Brock Lesnar at SummerSlam for the Universal title instead of what we most likely would know would be the person that takes the title off of Lesnar at SummerSlam. So Seth Rollins.
Okay. I have gone on record multiple times. People are getting sick of it. Seth Rollins is the best thing on Raw right now. That's just obligatory for me to say. With that said, it wouldn't surprise me if Elias took it. I like what Elias is doing. I like the character. It's kind of like Honky Tonk Man meets I'm trying to find like someone gritty to mesh him with. That would work.
You can't say Jeff Jarrett because we're already talking about the aspect. Because we're already talking about the aspect of the whole music gimmick.
I would say Honky Tonk Man meets Road Dogg meets Bam Bam Bigelow. I don't know why. Just Bam Bam Bigelow entered my head for some reason.
I mean, Road Dogg once was known as the Roadie.
Shut up. Number one.
It's true. It's the Roadie for Jeff.
I know, but still. I don't know why Bam Bam Bigelow entered my head. Don't ask. I think it was just because of the whole serious, no-nonsense thing. Like, he can be fun, he can be entertaining, but at the same time, he can be no-nonsense. And then, of course, the music. Do we really need to say?
He actually kind of reminds me of Rick Rude.
Okay, there we go. We'll go with Rick Rude. A cross between Honky Tonk Man and Rick Rude. There we go. But, yeah, it's just... I want Rollins to be the Universal Champion. let's be fair. That's not going to happen. As much as we want it to, it's not going to happen. But I think I'm going to go with Elias. I don't know why. I just feel like Elias is the way to go here.
All right. And Dylan, you've made your prediction?
Yeah, I said Seth Rollins. If
Okay.
Elias wins, I'd still be amazed.
Yeah.
Elias.
Now,
Wow.
Paul, have you seen the guitar yet?
I have. It was a beautiful
Okay.
guitar, but
Right.
I wouldn't say it was a Fender. I think it was just some sort of just crappy. It was falling apart kind of acoustic guitar that they just did their thing on.
Okay. Moving right along here. Let's see what match. We'll go up the list. We'll go Carmella versus Asuka.
Carmelo.
Carmelo. No, I was messing up somewhere. Carmella versus Asuka for the SmackDown Women's Championship match. This is gonna be. I was gonna say the Women's Championship match where a new champion is crowned, but you never know with the whole Nia Jax Ronda Rousey match, which we'll talk about afterwards. But to me, it makes sense. They had Asuka lose versus Charlotte at WrestleMania,
which I found was just weird.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't good, it wasn't bad, it was just weird.
However, I don't know who else they would have had Charlotte lose, or sorry, Asuka lose to lose the streak, but yeah. Then we have Carmella, who shockingly won clean against Carmella. Carmella won clean against Charlotte. My
SummerSlam '94, except
botch. All right. Yeah, like
I wouldn't even know how to do that because like in SummerSlam '94 it was obvious Undertaker versus Underfaker, but like who would Carmella versus Carmella? How would you do that? Carmella versus Carmelo. There we go.
Yeah.
Carmelo.
Santina.
You know, when Santino was Santina, but now Carmelo.
Let's get back on track because this is getting too far off. Any audience we had is now gone.
But no, Carmella won clean against Charlotte is what I meant to say. So it kind of shocked me a little bit because, during that match, you would have thought that the Iconic Duo would have came out and helped out, but the Iconics as they're called now. I don't know. I'm just so used to calling them the Iconic Duo, but
they have their reasons.
They do. But no, to be honest, it's likely that with my prediction, I'm gonna say Asuka is walking out of Money in the Bank as new SmackDown Women's Champion. I don't know. Unless they have it where during this, event, the Iconics come and help out. But I don't see that happening. I just don't. So Asuka's my prediction. Dylan, what do you think?
Asuka's gonna walk out, but with either a count out or a DQ win. Because I don't think it's you don't want Asuka to lose, but I don't think a lot of people want Carmella to lose that title yet. So the only way is for Carmella just, she's sick of the match and she just leaves, gives Asuka the count out win. I don't know. I just think a little longer with that women's title for Carmella. Even if it's one more, like Extreme Rules. But.
Oh, and then this is how they'll say, "Oh, I beat Asuka." Well, yeah, you only won by count out though, or something like that.
See, I don't think Asuka would just let a count out win happen.
No.
As much as Asuka would want to win, I don't think Asuka would want to win that way. Something that seems a little bit more likely, the referee would be administering the count. Asuka would run out to grab Carmella. They brawl for a little bit. Asuka rolls Carmella in at 9, but fails to get back in by 10. I'm going to say Carmella wins by count out.
Either way, it's a count out. That's where I was kind of getting at, but yeah.
Yeah, that seems a little bit more likely. I would say Carmella wins by count out, not Asuka.
Okay. Fair enough. Dylan, are you looking at the card at all?
Here and there, I have a tab open.
Okay, you can. I mean, it makes more sense to just go with the next women's championship match, to be quite honest.
Yeah.
So yeah, we got Raw Women's Champion Nia Jax defending it against Rowdy Ronda Rousey. On Raw, you see the fact that Ronda Rousey finally got an armbar locked into Nia Jax, with Nia kind of basically tapping right away as soon as.
And the bell ringing during a press conference.
Yeah, like what was with
weird.
that? That was.
I don't know. Mistakes happen.
Yeah.
I just wonder who gave that order though, because it was like well after the fact.
Yeah, I kind of laughed at that. It was pretty comical, but I don't know what's gonna happen with this match, to be quite honest with you.
Well, since you're thinking, I'll jump in. How's that sound?
Yeah, I was gonna throw it to you
because I've kind of figured this out.
Okay.
I think the way this match goes down depends on when and where on the card the women's Money in the Bank ladder match goes. Because the way I think of it is this: is if the women's Money in the Bank ladder match is early in the card, with this match happening much later, then they could have whoever won the women's Money in the Bank ladder match come out, take the title, and leave again. Simply because the thing that which I'll touch on a little bit later, the Money in the Bank ladder matches are not brand exclusive. The winner could challenge either champion. But if it's not happening at a spot where there would be enough time for the winner of the Money in the Bank ladder match to rest, then my prediction is Ronda wins the match, but not the title. I feel like there might be some sort of interference. I just don't know where or how.
All right.
So again, if there's ample space between the women's Money in the Bank ladder match and this match, then the Money in the Bank ladder match winner wins the title. If not, Ronda wins the match but not the title.
See, I agree with what you're saying to a point, but I feel that with this match, I mean, either way, I don't feel Ronda Rousey is ready yet for the Raw Women's Championship.
I mean, in a sense, was Nia really?
That's debatable. Moving right along, though, with my prediction, I feel that I'll agree with what you're saying. Like, if the women's Money in the Bank match is earlier in the card, we might have a new Raw Women's Champion after the match. But just for the sake of the match and the prediction, I'm going to say Nia Jax retains. And we'll throw it to Dylan.
I honestly am going to say right now, I can't make my prediction until we talk about the women's Money in the Bank.
Okay, so we'll come back to you on that.
Because I got kind of my hamster on the wheel.
Okay, so we'll go back to your prediction on that after we talk about the women's Money in the Bank, which we might as well just go into right now.
Fair enough.
I mean, it makes sense. We'll go Ember Moon versus Charlotte Flair versus Alexa Bliss versus Becky Lynch versus Natalya versus Lana versus Naomi versus Sasha Banks. Dylan, since you seem to have a pretty good firm grip on this, we'll just let you take it.
All right. So now, first, I got to break down this match. So we got, I think we can easily say that from each brand, the least likely to win would be Ember Moon because she's fairly new. She's not ready to have some sort of title, even though she was the NXT Women's Champion. But I don't think she's ready to be a potential next contender for the Raw Women's title. And then obviously SmackDown would be Lana. So then that leaves with the remaining 6. So then I don't think it's going to be Charlotte because she just got out of a title feud. And I think that would be the same with Alexa Bliss. So now that leaves, let's see, who do we? Okay, so Becky, Naomi, Sasha, and Natalia. So I think lately the odds-on favorite to win from what a lot of people are saying are Natalia, so that she can start up a feud with Ronda. But I don't think that's going to be the case anymore, to be honest. Especially when they're working this injury angle. I think the injury would cost Natalia the match. So Natalia's out. And then I don't know about Naomi. So now that leaves Becky Lynch and Sasha Banks, which honestly, this leads, I think the winner of the match is going to be Sasha Banks. And now this leads to the women's title match of what I was saying earlier. So I think during the Ronda Nia match, Sasha's going to cash in to make it a triple threat. And at some point during this match, Ronda's got to be knocked out in some way, whether it's by Nia or Sasha, or even if Stephanie McMahon interfered in some way. But I don't know if that's going to happen because there's going to be an interference. I think at some point, Sasha's going to lock in the Banks statement and Bayley's going to interfere, finally turn heel and attack Sasha Banks, costing her the match. Nia wins the match by pinning Sasha. Ronda doesn't get pinned. It protects her, and Nia walks out with the title. And it starts the Sasha Bayley feud.
See, I think if Bayley is going to attack Sasha, it's going to be in the ladder match itself. I think it's going to be like just about any other situation. Bad guys up on the ladder, taking their sweet time. Out comes the babyface. They do their thing. Effectively takes her out of the match. And the only reason I'm saying that is because Bayley is nowhere to be found on the card in any capacity. So I think if she is going to run interference on Sasha, it's going to be during the match, during the ladder match. I think Charlotte's going to take the ladder match simply because they're giving her all of these other things. They gave her the first win against Asuka. They gave her the first WWE Women's Championship ring. The first. You know what I mean. They're giving her all of these firsts, so to speak. And I know that Carmella is technically the first Money in the Bank holder. But
yeah, 2 times.
I'm giving her 1 time. The match was essentially thrown out the first time around.
Yeah, because of James Ellsworth.
Which is also a reason I don't feel like I thought about Bayley, like what you were saying, like Bayley interferes during the ladder match, but then that's like 2 years in a row where we've got interference in the match for someone else to win. It's like, do we want to see that?
But it's not directly helping someone, like with James Ellsworth and Carmella. It's not making sure someone wins. It's making sure someone loses. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like it's not making sure one person in particular wins. It's making sure one person in particular loses. It's kind of the flip side of the coin. I see what you're getting at, but I don't see Bayley doing that. I think Bayley would be in a much better position to attack Sasha during the ladder match itself. I'm thinking Charlotte's going to take it, but I will do a number 2 just for the sake of giving out, my number two pick, because this is an 8-person match. My number 2 pick would be Naomi, just because I think that would be interesting to see.
All right. I like Dylan's idea. With the whole thing with Sasha Banks and Bailey, with Bailey turning heel at some point. But however, my choice, as always, has to be Little Miss Bliss. Like Paul mentioned earlier with the whole appeal thing. I don't know. Alexa Bliss is that for me. I've just been a huge fan of her, and for me, I'm just, I gotta say, Alexa Bliss wins this match. But we have 2 more matches to talk about. One being for the WWE Championship, which I'm assuming Paul wanted to save for a bit later to talk about. That, and plus we were already talking about women's championship matches, so to jump into the women's ladder match would make sense. Why not? Since we're at it, since we're talking about ladder matches already, we'll talk about the ladder match for a world championship contract. So we've got the Monster Among Men, Braun Strowman. We've got Finn Balor. We've got The Miz, Rusev, Bobby Roode, Kevin Owens, Samoa Joe, and a member of the New Day to be determined, whether it's Big E, Kofi Kingston, or Xavier Woods. Since we're saying a member to be determined, I also want to hear your guys' opinions on which of the members of the New Day you think is going to be in the match. So, why not, Dylan? Kick it off with you this time.
I know Kofi Kingston's high flying, and he could be good for the ladder match. And I think that the whole plan of this was to give this to Big E, because I think the idea is to give Big E this soon-to-be singles push and finally disband the New Day after being together for so long. But I think Big E is going to be entering that ladder match.
Okay. Now for your actual prediction of the ladder match.
Okay, so now, once again, the whole breaking down method. For the Raw side, I think the least likely has to be between, I think Bobby Roode won't win. That's for sure for Raw. And then SmackDown, I don't know. There's a lot of contenders that I'd like to win. Like The Miz, I would like to win, and then there's I might have to give this to whatever New Day member enters in. Even though there's this push, there could be a point where they accidentally screw over one of the members to lose the Money in the Bank ladder match. Now it comes down to who's left. So I don't think Braun's gonna win, even though Monster in the Bank and all that. I think his win he won on Raw, right? Like that match they had, Robbie?
I believe so.
Okay, that was the fate. Yeah, okay, yeah, he did. I remember.
Yeah.
It was that or Finn. I don't even remember actually. I think Braun got his when you get a win and gives you the momentum into the match. I think that's Braun's moment, and then now it leaves. I don't think a Raw guy is going to win. Since I said that a Raw person was going to win the women's Money in the Bank, I think a SmackDown person is going to win, and I think the perfect person to win this match. Even though I like The Miz, and I think everyone's fantasy is for, I guess maybe I would talk about it later, but to rekindle the Miz and Daniel Bryan feud. But I think the person walking out with the Money in the Bank briefcase is going to be Samoa Joe. Now thinking about it a little more, I think Samoa Joe is going to walk out of there. It's either going to be Samoa Joe or The Miz. A SmackDown guy is guaranteed to walk out of Money in the Bank with the briefcase, in my opinion.
So for me now, first off, I don't think it's going to be Xavier representing the New Day. I don't know why he's not in these New Day matches. Whenever there's a tag match, he's on the outside. That could be the catalyst for him breaking off from the New Day, him being left out of the match. It's so easy to say Kofi just because of his experience in these matches. I'm trying to remember just how many Money in the Bank ladder matches he's been in, and he's been in a lot of them. He's been there for...
I think they actually mentioned on TV that he's been in 6.
6?
Yes.
So yeah, it's easy to go with him just because of his experience. Big E would be interesting, but I don't know exactly where to go with that. I'll say Kofi for the sake of saying someone. In terms of who's winning the briefcase, I'm looking at this and I'm thinking about who doesn't really need it, and who doesn't really need it is Braun Strowman. Finn would be interesting. Rusev would be interesting. Kevin Owens would be interesting. I think the best way to go here would be The Miz, just because he could carry it the best.
Yeah. So you're gonna go with The Miz on this one?
You're barely in the frame, Robbie.
Sorry.
It's just, hi, I'm Robbie Diltz. This is Night of Wrestling.
Laid back and chill. But no. So you're going with I'm
going with Miz. Yeah.
Okay. I like Dylan's thinking and your thinking with this. It all pretty much makes sense. Dylan's 1 and 2 were Samoa Joe and The Miz. However, I'm gonna switch it up and say The Miz and Samoa Joe. So it's between those two for sure.
I'm gonna say for my second, for the record, just real quick, I'm gonna say Kevin Owens for my number 2.
Okay.
I don't know why. It's just that could be fun.
I mean, if I had to pick someone from Raw, Finn Balor, but I mean, just for the sake of it. But no, I definitely feel like everybody thinks that The Miz is gonna win. And if he does, he does. I wouldn't mind seeing Samoa Joe win. So that's why he'll be my number 2. But yeah, I'm definitely going The Miz on this one. And moving right along now with the WWE Championship Last Man Standing match between the current champion AJ Styles and the opponent, the challenger being Shinsuke Nakamura. And this one's a tough one for me.
It is time for this feud to end. This feud has been going on since January. This is now June. AJ Styles better win this match, or at the very least, a draw, which AJ would keep the title. And then the Money in the Bank ladder match winner, I've already talked about this, I know, with the women's match. But the men's winner comes out and basically picks the bones. It is time for the AJ Styles Shinsuke Nakamura feud over the WWE Championship to come to an end.
See, I don't know. Dylan, what do you think? This one's super hard because I felt like the way that the Backlash match ended could have possibly should have been a result of what could have happened in a last man stand. But now they're doing a last man stand. What happens if that happens again? I don't think anyone wants to see. So at this point, I'm thinking like, man, I want this feud to be over. But I'm thinking like, if if Shinsuke doesn't walk out, what was the point of him turning heel? What was the big payoff for Shinsuke? Which I've been thinking Shinsuke is going to walk out, and unfortunately, we would have to see one more match, which would have to be at Extreme Rules, because I've been thinking like Shinsuke and Daniel Bryan for the first time ever at SummerSlam, and then
didn't they already have a match on SmackDown?
I think they've had I think it was they had the AJ Daniel Bryan match, and then Shinsuke interfered. I think that's the only thing that's happened. But I don't know where to be honest, I don't really care who wins in this match, but I'm just gonna throw, I don't know, a bunch of darts in the wall, I guess. I don't know how the term goes. But Shinsuke is gonna walk out as the WWE champion.
And I just want to touch on one thing really quickly before we get to you, Robbie, because I meant to bring this up during the ladder matches, but it's a point that left my mind and then re-entered it until now. I am so glad that the Money in the Bank contracts are no longer brand specific. I have said it 1,001 times. That idea was the worst thing for the match because it took away any element of surprise. Because if you have a SmackDown specific briefcase, well, then it's just like, okay, so who's the one person that this guy could cash in on to make sense?
Yeah.
But now with the idea, well, not the idea, the return of either champion could be challenged. I mean, yeah, it takes away some mystique for the men's side just because Brock Lesnar, the longest reigning world champion of the modern era at 436 days and counting. Sorry, had to bring that up. Simply because he's not really there and probably won't be seen again until SummerSlam. It does kind of take away some of that mystique, but then you have the whole 365-day rule. So it's not like they have to hurry up and cash it in on the WWE champion.
Is there still a 365 rule? Because they never talk about that anymore. They just say they cash in whenever they want.
I think it's not necessarily a 365-day rule. It's more of who, like, until the next one. Let me just look it up, I guess, because I might as well.
Because if the case is they can cash in whenever they want, maybe 1 year we could finally have someone who cashes in Money in the Bank, wins, and then another guy cashes in Money in the Bank. So 2 cash-ins in one night on the same type. Because that needs to happen.
Let me see. I'm just going to read off what I have here for the concept on the Wikipedia page. The Money in the Bank ladder match can feature anywhere between 5 to 10 participants, retrieve a briefcase, 2006. The ECW's world title became a third option. Where is it?
Moving right along, I'm going to make my prediction with Shinsuke Nakamura while we wait.
Yeah, hold on. I'm going to look. Yeah, you go right ahead and explain that because I'm just trying to find it.
Yeah, all right. So yeah, for me saying Shinsuke Nakamura, it makes some sense in a capacity to have him win the WWE Championship. Like Dylan said, having him turn heel, what would be his payoff? This winning the WWE Championship would be the big payoff in the end for Shinsuke. It just makes complete sense to me. And probably to many others, to be quite honest. So Shinsuke is my choice.
It says here the contract is valid for 1 year, and the briefcase holder can cash in the contract at the date, place, and time of their choosing. So 1 year is what apparently the official rule is.
So probably the next Money in the Bank pay-per-view event.
Probably. Yeah, that's probably what they would go with, just for the sake of making things easier.
Yeah.
Anyway, I think we've covered everything.
Yes, I believe we have.
Is there anything else we want to bring up? For the record, if anyone's watching, we are not covering the United Kingdom Championship Tournament, simply because that would involve a lot of bracket filling on our end. And also, you've just heard us talking for like an hour about stuff. And the last thing we want is to play fantasy booking. The last thing we want is to basically flip a coin and be like, so this is the way it's going to turn out, we think. And then it ends up being something entirely different simply because of the whole tournament concept. So we are not covering the United Kingdom Championship Tournament. If you really want us to, no.
No. But no, I agree with Paul. This has been the time for Night of Wrestling. We will be back for the next event being Extreme Rules in July.
Which is before. Oh wait, so
when is that? Because I might not even.
July 15th, and in case I'm potentially on.
Oh yeah, I forgot.
July 15th?
Like summer tour, then I might not.
I can tell you right now, if this crosses into summer tour, then I won't be on. Simply because the Wi-Fi on some of these reserves are not the greatest at times.
I know that for sure. Yeah, I don't know. I might be on summer tour. I don't know. Still don't know.
Fair enough. I will find someone to fill in.
Yeah.
Looks like it's you and Sean Diltz.
Don't quite get your hopes up, but he could be. No, to be honest though, might be Sean Diltz.
Yeah, we'll find out exactly how long it goes for, and we'll update you. We might not even, who knows? We'll figure it out. We'll probably like message you our predictions, and then you could just fly solo.
That could work too.
I don't know. We'll figure it out. It depends on how long summer tour goes for. I know that we leave July 1st.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That makes sense. I saw that. So whatever way we're doing it, until next time, this has been a Night of Wrestling. Thank you, Paul, and thank you, Dylan, for being on again. As always, take care.